Hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of the Chiro-Factor. This is a little different because the format in which we record these can be very different. The context can be very different. Sometimes it's James and I via Zoom, and we're in different countries. He's up in Canada, I'm in the People's Republic of California. There's other times we do it in front of a live studio audience, like our last episode with the phenomenal docs that were in Australia. This particular one, it's he and I outside. We did this in front of Big Ben. And this particular one is us in front of the Sydney Opera House. Now, what I like about that is we're just kind of riffing post-event. So this is James and I after 2 days of teaching this seminar called The Best Practices. The Best Practices was done as a pilot tour. We did one in Europe, one in the US, one in Australia, and the results have been phenomenal. So we'll have to get together some other dates. So no promotion here. I'm just letting you know there's none scheduled. But because it was so good, we are going to go back to the drawing board and probably come up with some 2026 dates. However, here, what you're going to get are some tip of the iceberg. We're going to do a couple article reviews that I know are going to help you out. James is going to go through some things that you can apply to your table talk or your next health class. We start out kind of mellow energy in this particular recording because it's after 2 full days and 2 full nights of doing the live podcast to the live audience. So we're a little tired on a Sunday morning. We're a little bit haggard. But as you'll see, about halfway through the recording, I rev him up. He gets going, and all of a sudden the energy goes through the roof. So forgive us for the 3 minutes of the talking and chatting and a little bit of a haggard tone because we just are really just coming off of 2 great days and we're jet lag as hell. Please forgive the rain that falls and pours in the middle of it. And if you're watching on an MP4, you'll see it downpours on us. We don't break stride. We're so committed to your success. We didn't stop the recording. We didn't change what we were doing. We both played outside sports. It rains. Had a coach that used to say, once you're wet, you're wet. In other words, get over it. And we did. We just kept powering through with the information. But as always, these Chiro-Factors are super valuable. And we do cover some science. We cover some research articles specifically that in this shorter version of what typically is 90 minutes, it might be just as valuable because we cut right to the high points that I know you can use in your practice. Again, there's many factors in health, but we sincerely believe the X factor for so many people is the Chiro-Factor. It's the adjustment itself. And if Didi was around and someone gave him, advice on how to promote the profession, it would probably be in a medium like an MP3. So if you are watching the MP4, you'll see the rain coming down. But this idea that you can start, stop, and go back, it's truly been a gift and a give to the profession. That's why we started this podcast. And yet the feedback's been overwhelming for a free product. All we ask of you and the freemium is drop us some comments or just click the thumbs up button on a YouTube. Throw a positive comment under it if you see it on a post. We just want more chiropractic students and more young doctors to get ingratiated in what we know to be real chiropractic. If you're a veteran, you're listening, and this reinforces your beliefs, share it with someone or post it or give us some positive comments so that we can help the younger generation. I won't hold you up any further, but this was filmed in front of the Sydney Opera House, outside and in the rain, your next episode of the Chiro-Factor. Hey everybody, we have just wrapped up the Best Practices seminar, and I would just say that it was an impactful weekend if I would be polite about it, because the truth is it was friggin' awesome.
I thought so too. I thought, what an incredible sort of energetic, receptive, appreciative, and excited to get to work crowd. There was just lots of young faces, as we talked about many times, but yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah,
it was really fun.
It was awesome. We did 2 full days here, obviously in Australia, and what we kind of went through for those 2 full days is something that we were doing as a pilot. So we said, hey, we'll do one in the US, see what the uptake is. We'll do one in the UK. We'll do one in Australia. And if you know anything about science, this guy, you got to do 3 variables, right, in science and just see what the sample size was. And so now that the pilot's over and we've done this, the feedback has been like a resounding, the profession's hungry for this exact message in the exact way that we did it. And I think the yin and the yang between the science and the evidence and the communication, the validation and the application is really what the future of chiropractic also needs to get. And I'll say this before I throw it over to you. Some of what we heard over the weekend was people that remembered James from 20 years ago, had the pivot in their career 20 years ago when he was here, had one weekend with him 15 years ago. And what's really cool now is to just look at this last couple of days and go, hey, I think that was another pivot point. Is that fair to say that this weekend was a big shift for a lot of people?
Yeah, and I think this idea that as I've talked about for 20 something years is that you're not choosing between evidence-based and adjustment-centric. They're in fact, if you want to be evidence-based, you have to be adjustment-centric. And then for them to see that, and then I can take that message and put it into great systems and communication and build a ethical millionaire practice, as we always like to say. Yeah. I thought it was cool. I mean, the good news is that it's like it's taken off. We're getting rained on, but it's taken off. Yeah. The bad news is it's taken off.
Right. Yeah.
Because I was like, it's hard for me to leave the roost. But I just think even out last night and the night before for dinners and with friends and stuff, it's like there's a lot of desire to do it again. And it's like, I kind of feel like that moral obligation I always talk about. Like, I'm just not sure I can walk away without kind of finishing this thing a bit,
Let's do this, baby. Yeah. And that was my desired outcome. I just said, dude, we got to get you back out there. Yeah. Just Socratically, what would you say if we went to Australia and if it was good feedback? But the truth is, it was global, right? So, whether it was the UK or here in Sydney, the impact has been the same for the chiropractors. And a couple things you said yesterday that we were discussing at dinner last night. So again, part of why we wanted to do this, and at the risk of sounding like this is a bit arrogant, I'm going to say it anyway. It's not intended to be that way, but the truth is, I said, I think we need to do this as a give back to the profession, because a lot of chiropractors have lost their swagger through the lockdowns, through some of the BS that happened globally. A lot of chiropractors just haven't recovered. And I said, if anybody can lift their confidence and get them to a place of certainty, it's you. And I just said, I think we need to get you in front of these people, not in a video, but live, because the other masterful thing that you do is not just provide great content, but you also can understand context, you can read people, and then you can shift it. So at one point yesterday, we had a beautiful lunch. It was a great hotel. It was conducive for socializing really and just people being there live. Again, the opposite of virtual is the live. So that element of the energy in the room and all this stuff. And then at one point, phenomenal food and people going back for seconds, the energy dipped 30 minutes after lunch, which I've yet to be at a seminar where that doesn't happen, right? But just reading the room, you got everybody up, and that's when you gave them the exercises for their patients. That's when you described how they would describe to their patients what to do for the home care. And just that time to just read it, and you got them up, the energy was like back up in the room. And there's just something masterful about not just having content, but then also being able to be a presenter at the highest level where you can read that and give in a way that's really going to be the most impactful because they experience it. So maybe talk a little bit about the difference between virtual and live, and a little bit of what you do with that.
Well, I think, in a selfish way, to be honest, even though I will just be honest and say, without you, I'm not doing this. You really kind of kept pushing me and so thank you for that. In the end, it was really great.
In the end.
You know what I mean? I was just like, dude, I just don't need it. I'm just, but I'm like, But you can't bribe me with money, and you can't sort of coerce me with you'll get attention or whatever. You're like, they need it, and I was just like,
and that was the consistent message was they need it. But that was it. It was just like, this is just for them, and just so people know, that's the humble place he comes from too. Is like, it's just for the audience, for the people. But keep going, please. Okay.
Yeah, and so being live, it's just so different. Like I don't know, it's like, when you see the faces of just almost tears and gratitude of like,
a lot of tears.
I've been emancipated from this false belief system I had of this lie that if I see people more than 3 times, I'm trying to rip them off, that I should refer out because chiropractic probably doesn't work. If it hasn't worked in 2 visits, it's they're a non-responder, or like just all these absolute outright lies that people have been told. And so when I that's why the research is exciting for these people, because research can be dry. I get it, but
not the way you teach it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's because they're like, okay, this is absolutely useful for me, and I don't have to be, I can be ethical and successful. And as I say, integrity is lucrative, and in fact, integrity is the basis of all success in life. You can be rich and be a jerk, as I say, right? And that's not success. But, and so anyway, and the other thing I really like about it is that I really like the fact that we're so, not just synergistic, but it's like there's no competition of like, I want the attention again, or I want this. Like, I really feel like I'm just very comfortable passing the baton to you every time, and I know what you're going to say is not going to make me cringe, and it's like, it's been really a nice experience for me, to be honest with you, dude. Thank you. It's been really good, and it's like, I feel like I'm getting sucked back in kind of, but it's like, there's work to do, man. And if there was anything for me that made like these last 3 seminars and stuff, it's like, like, listen, like, again, not to be a jerk or whatever, but I don't go and speak and people go, that was terrible. Like, it just doesn't, like, not, but.
No, you don't miss the mark.
But that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is, that was so impactful that, and yeah, the ones from 20 or 15, 10 years ago that say, I changed my life. Like, I get it. But that's, the jag for me is seeing the new ones and then seeing what Monday's going to look like for these people. And it's like, and for me, like, I always stopped at, I'm really good, I think, at telling people, how to maybe communicate some stuff in the office and stuff. But like, in terms of getting the patients in, doing like all this kind of stuff, like, I'm a content guy, right? And you're a delivery guy. And I just think, for me, it's, I've never been able to go, but just go here for your delivery stuff. Just go here for your coaching, because there was just always this hesitation of, kind of like when chiropractors like, oh, you're referring someone to another chiropractor, and you're kind of a little bit nervous about what they're going to get, in honesty sometimes, right?
Like if your family member's going.
Yeah, exactly. Or someone that, maybe is a bit of a skeptic and you're not sure what they're going to be told, or, whatever.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's the comfort level, which is like, okay, I've sat through these seminars now 3 times, and like, as I think I said to you the other night, I go, one of the things for me is I make this differentiation between understanding that there's different cultures, and there's some things that I might go, that might push me out of my comfort zone, but it's not unethical. It's like, it's just like, maybe that's my comfort zone. And so I just appreciate the fact that there's, I mean, this maybe not, I just go, you got no scumbag in you. You hear me say that, right? And I'm like, if you did, I'm out.
Yeah, right.
And so, it's surprisingly, for me, I'm kind of a little bit keen to see if we can push this and grow it and save this bloody thing, man. That's how I feel about it.
I love it. And this bloody thing is the profession of chiropractic, because there's a lot of distractions and devices and other things that chiropractors are being told are superior or better, and bring it back to adjustment-centric, and basically the principles of chiropractic in an evidence-based model is huge. And for me, the delivery of care plans, and we were talking a little bit about like table talk and that stuff, and that's always been an issue for me too. Like, we teach people how to put patients on care plans, but it's not a transaction. And so what we talked a little bit about yesterday was, what is the daily visit? What is your table talk? And what do you say? Because that's the nurture phase. This is a chance to love them up. So here's a framework to love them up. Here's a thing to do. Now stop, get on your feet, role play it, put it in, got it? Because the second you experience it, you're starting to change your own brain.
But the thing, Brad, is, sorry to interrupt, it's not a pretend to love them, so they'll sign a contract or give you their money. It's like, dude, do the right thing, genuinely care for them and have empathy, and that's what I like about it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and to me, that's the essence of building a great practice, And so sitting through 3 seminars now, through this pilot world tour that we did, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, right? We're like, we'll go as far east and north as we can go, and then we'll go as far south and